My name is Jazz, and I left the cult of the wokest, extremist, radical movement. And let me just tell you about the amount of fear and shame I felt while aligning myself with those people, right? Because in this cult, it is an it's an unspoken cult. Like, it's a situation where they don't want to verbalize that. It's one of those situations where it has to be, you always agree with us. And if you don't agree with even one thing, then that just means that you're a bad guy and an evil person and you're the problem in the world. They will always make you feel like you are a problem if your views on something are even slightly different. And so many people are afraid to speak their truth because they don't want to be called these terrible things, you know, like how I'm a non-binary person, for example, but because I live the stereotypical girl, female, woman experience, and because I don't live the trans experience, I'm not a man transitioning into a female, and I'm not a woman transitioning into a man. So I don't, I'm not experiencing their experience, so I don't identify myself as trans, although, the movement may see me as trans. And the way I see it is, if that's how you view me along the spectrum, I completely understand, but I don't live that experience. I'm not looking to get any surgeries. I'm not looking to remove my breast. I'm not looking to get a, you know, fake wiener. I'm not looking to do anything to my body. I'm not looking to take hormones. I'm not looking to do anything to look more masculine. I'm not doing any of that. And because that is how I feel about myself and my own identity, instantly there are a portion of the community who will literally say that I'm experiencing internalized transphobia. And that is an extreme point of view to have. That's absolutely ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to me. And y'all, when I say I'm exhausted. And there's so many things that I've been wanting to speak about, but once again, they would make me feel like I have to be ashamed in myself. It's like, it's like, in order to be a part of this movement, you have to be in a constant state of fear and victimization. And the way I see it is, why should I live every moment of my life feeling like a victim just to be a part of this cult of people who really don't give a fuck about me? Because if if my view on something is even slightly different, me with my heart, I'm like very open-minded. So it's like, although somebody may have a different point of view than me, I'm not going to shun them away. I'm not going to call them all these different types of like crazy words. That's not a part of my character. That's not what I'm going to do. That is not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. But they have this reaction that is so, once again, extreme. It's extreme. And then, like, the whole, oh yeah, yeah. I feel happy that I can at least talk about this on YouTube, because TikTok is the worst place to speak your mind. It's the worst place to possibly speak your mind. Like, if you saw my last video, someone I used to be mutual friends with, called me an ableist because I said I'm not going to use my anxiety disorder and my complex post-traumatic stress disorder and the fact that I experience, chronic depression throughout my life, that I'm not going to use that as a reason why I'm not able to succeed in life. I can, listen, I can do whatever I put my mind to. So if I want to be happy, if it's a choice, I have that free will. We all have a sense of free will, right? We can all experience some kind of mental disorder of some sort, but that doesn't mean that that has to define all of us. But because that is my point of view, she called me an ableist. And these are the and this is the reason why people are so afraid to speak their truth. You're not able to have your own personal truth when you are a part of this cult. And I honestly want to talk more about the experience as an person who's a part of the LGBTQIA community, and me being a person who is queer, me being a person who was born a woman and who still lives this female experience in life, but also feels like, hey, the reason why I identify as non binary is because I've had to live in masculinity my entire life. I have been able to do the shadow work and ask myself, why do I feel like a non-binary person? Why do I feel like that? And it's because I was very confused about what my role in society was supposed to be, because I saw my mom, being the provider and protector of my family, and then I end up having a kid and I realized like, wow, I have to be the provider and protector of my little family. And I've only been exposed to men who were very weak. That's all I've ever seen. Men who were weak and did not have the, you know, capability to provide and protect. And men should be able to do that. And I didn't realize that before, so I was always confused about what my role in society was. So then once the term and label non-binary came out, that's when I was like, okay, well, I am like this mixture of masculine and feminine energy. I want to live the feminine experience. I want to feel like a soft princess. I want to be able to, experience the soft side of life, right? But I'm still also a queer person. I'm also gay, like, so it's just something that is something that's a part of my self identity, but it's not all of me. That is not what makes all of me. So I don't have to write they, them on my fucking forehead. And I still go by the pronouns she, her, that's because I present extremely feminine. I understand that that's the reason why people be like, oh, well, she, her, she, her. Thankfully, I do have a friend in my life who corrects himself, and he'll refer to me as a person, a human, an individual, they, their, you know what I mean? Like, he'll be like, you're a very beautiful woman. And then he'll be like, I mean, you're a very beautiful person and you have a, you know what I mean? And I respect that. And I understand that's not what everyone wants to do. Not everyone has the mental capacity to do that. And there are some people who feel like people who are non-binary aren't even real. They feel like we're real as humans, but they don't feel like it is a thing. And the way I see it is, if that is your opinion, that's your opinion. I'm not going to think that you're a crappy person because your point of view on being a non-binary person is so different. My point of view on being a non-binary person is different. You know what I mean? And I explained that earlier on in this video. So I feel like I'm all over the place with this, but there's just so many things I just been wanting to get off my chest. And that was one of them. And I also want to talk about this whole woman debacle, like some trans women being like, don't call me trans, I'm just a woman. And then cis women being like, don't call me cis, I'm just a woman. And it's like, y'all are both identifying as women. Okay. All right. Fine. Okay. Now let's get back to reality. Um, Climate change is a thing. We're still cutting down trees when this is like our source of oxygen. Um, the planet is primarily water. Our bodies are primarily water, but guess what? The water supply that we do have access to as humans is poison. Like, and it's not even to minimize people's daily experiences. It's so that people could just like step outside of themselves for a fucking moment and realize like, hey, as humans, we are all dealing with this huge catastrophe coming our way. And but if I were to even say that, they'll be like, "Oh, you're fear mongering," coming from the people who are literally instill fear in the people for having different viewpoints. Like, get the fuck over yourself. I'm signing off. Until next time.